I want to start with the, quote, moderates taking back and standing up to the extremists. Now, they didn't call Elizabeth Warren or Bernie Sanders an extremist. Didn't call either of them. What they did say is that the moderates came out. And Stu, I don't know about you, but I've been trying to find the moderate ones in the debate. I haven't found them.
That's because there are none, Glenn. They are only moderate in comparison to each other in approach.
In speed.
Speed towards the same destination.
In speed.
You see this over and over and over again. For example, when it comes to... I thought the most clear example of it was the wealth tax.
Yes,
the wealth tax is not your typical God, we should make sure we restrict guns for crazy people. This is a plan that most constitutional scholars say is unconstitutional. It was specifically debated by the founders. They specifically ruled it out. So it's like you'd absolutely have to go against what they talked about during the founding. It's been tested in the courts already and rejected. They'd have to just, it would have to be an activist court that would say it's a living document and now it means something else to justify the policy at its very base. Whether it would work or not is a totally different situation.
So what the wealth tax is, in case you don't understand, it goes beyond taxing people's income. That's an income tax. This is a wealth tax. So let's say you have $100,000 in the bank or $1 million in the bank, and you not only have $1 million in the bank, but you also have some paintings. You own a house worth $1 million. You've got some jewelry. So let's say you're worth $3 million. Mm-hmm. Well, you'd fall into the wealth tax. Now, that's not your income tax. That is an accounting of everything that you own. So you own jewelry. You own a house. This is why those homes in England, besides the fact that they were so huge you couldn't run them anymore. It took too many people to run them. But this is why people have gone broke in England and have lost all of those houses. One of the reasons is because you have to pay the property tax, and the property tax is so high. Well, we understand that when it comes to property for a home, but we don't take that into consideration when it comes to, how many cars do you have? Do you have any jewelry? Do you have any art? How much money do you have in savings? That's property. And so the wealth tax takes away 2% of whatever it is that you own. 2% you have to pay on the things that you've already bought, you already have.
And by the way, you were already taxed on the money that you paid for it. So it would be a double tax.
It's actually triple tax because you paid it when you earned it, then you paid the tax when you bought it. Now, just to keep it, you have to pay a tax.
Right. And the reason why it's relatively popular in polling, particularly among Democrats, is it's just a punitive class warfare tactic.
Yes.
It's just saying, hey, these people are really rich, they don't need it, you do. So you should take their stuff. And look, people don't feel bad for millionaires, right? So, and it's understandable. However, there's so many problems with it. Number one being it's not constitutionally possible. Number two, it also has been tried, and give credit to Andrew Yang, who is the only person who seemed to even have the knowledge that it's been tried in multiple countries and has been repealed by multiple the socialist countries they say they want to be like, which, if you ask these socialist countries, they will tell you they are not socialist. But the Bernie Sanders type of countries, Sweden and such, have tried wealth taxes and repealed them because they don't work and they don't raise the amount of money that they thought they were going to raise.
Right.
So with that being set up, when you go, they went down they asked Elizabeth Warren about her wealth tax, and of course she said how it's not going to hurt anybody and it's going to raise enough money to give child care to every child in America, plus free college and free, she went through this litany of things that there's absolutely no way this wealth tax would pay for. And then they went around the 47 people who were up there.
Now, here's what was really interesting, because they say the moderates took her on. No. They didn't take her on.
No.
What they said, and I wrote them down. They said things like, "I support it, but I endorse that idea, but That has to be part of the solution. But so nobody was arguing this.
Yeah, with the exception of Yang,
Yes.
who was a notable exception here. But they will say, sure, that's a great thing we should do. However, we might not be able to get that done, or we need to do my idea too, or we need to do my idea first, or whatever it is, which all those other ideas were all raise taxes as well, just on different things. And you realize that, like, here's an issue that is outwardly unconstitutional, and it's not just Republican people saying that. It is something that was specifically debated by the founders. There's different types of taxation. It's why we needed the 16th Amendment in the first place, to get the income tax, because that was specifically debated and prohibited by the founders, and we needed to amend the Constitution. Good job, guys, to take a chunk of your income every week. With this, there is no amendment. They just want to do it. And
if you want to do it, you have to change the Constitution.
Right. And they have no interest in actually proposing an amendment.
Pass.
Right. They know it won't pass. And they think now they've abandoned the idea they need to change the Constitution. Now it's just, we just do what we want to do because we really want it. We don't really like millionaires, so we want to punish them. We want to take money away from them. And you can think that this is a good idea or a bad idea, but either way, it's not allowed under our system. No matter what you feel, if you feel really passionate that we got to take 2% of every millionaire's savings, that's
year.
great.
Every year.
Right? That's wonderful. However, you can't do it. So we can't even find someone who would even say that. Look, the wealth tax is an interesting idea, and the millionaires do have too much money. However, it's been shown in the courts to be unconstitutional. It's not something that we could get past. We should do these things. I don't think we didn't even get that. It was all that. Yes, that's great, but I don't think we can get it done politically.
Well, here's the interesting thing. To show you how extreme things are, this is the New York Times. Now, remember, we were extremists in the Tea Party because we were calling for a revolution. Remember that? We were calling for a revolution. We were anti-government people because we wanted to change the government. Okay? That's how they said everybody who was for the Constitution, just live with the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Just enforce that. That was politically radical. That was a revolution. That was dangerous. That was crazy, people thought. Here's the New York Times. They said that while Bernie Sanders, on one side, is calling for, and I'm quoting, a political revolution, on the other side of Biden, Warren is calling for massive structural changes in our country. Okay. Wow. Those are probably pretty big. You're admitting now that this is a political revolution. And they said, and Biden is stuck between the two of them. And his argument is, look, I'm the only one that's gotten big things done. Okay. So he's the moderate. Mm-hmm. And according to the Times, his argument is, look, you guys can't get it done. I'm the only one that can get it done because I've gotten big things done before. What you're talking about, Bernie, is political revolution. And you, Elizabeth, don't have enough information in your so-called plans to be able to make anything happen. You have to tell people the truth. And I'm the guy who can tell the truth. With Joe Biden, I'm the guy who can tell the truth because I've gotten things done like healthcare when we told everybody that there would be no increase of their premiums and it would actually help them and save them all $2,500. I'm the guy to tell them the truth.
Yeah, the argument really is I'm the guy who can lie convincingly. I'm the guy who can say we're not really going for the thing at the end of the road. We're only going for the thing halfway down the road, even though we all know we're going for the end of the road eventually. Anyway.
Did you see the spat between the two of them, between Elizabeth Warren and Joe Biden, where Joe Biden said, basically, I'm the only one. In fact, Elizabeth, I'm the one who got people to vote for your cute little idea. I'm the one who did it. And she There was a big awkward silence.
Yeah, there's a lot of accusations of sexism in this moment.
Oh, jeez.
That's the big thing everyone ran to.
You got to be kidding.
Oh yeah, because he was talking down to a woman. He was mansplaining how he was able to accomplish this, and it was her little idea.
But it's true. She went on and she said, "I want to thank President Obama for helping rally the votes for this," basically leaving him out. He got very, very testy. To me, he showed the Hillary face last night. What are you doing? Don't you know that I'm the selected candidate?
That's interesting. I mean, look, Biden did work the Senate all hard on a lot of these big initiatives and deserves some credit, though for that particular bill, I don't know how involved. I've read reporting that he was not all that involved in that particular
what
bill.
I took away from this is he is while she's getting the rap on stage as Elizabeth plans are the only ones that work. My plan is the only plan that works. I've got a plan for everything. Okay. His overall message, to me at least, I felt was, don't you understand? It's my turn. Don't you understand? I'm the only one that can win with you guys.
Yeah.
And you have to have me.
That's amazing because you have to be, I mean, if you're being honest with yourself and you're a Democrat and you're thinking to yourself, we need to get Donald Trump out of office, we need one of these people to beat them. No wonder they're so passionate about impeachment. I mean, this is not a good field. Biden can barely get through a sentence, and he has real problems. Warren, though, is so tailor-made for Donald Trump. It's incredible. She is stilted. She's stiff. She's robotic. She's repetitive. She has a deer in headlights look every single time she's pushed. What do you think Donald Trump's going to do to her on a debate stage? It's going to be devastating.
I have to tell you, Joe Biden is going to be his clock will be cleaned by Trump if he was the candidate. Bernie Sanders, clean his clock. Elizabeth Warren, cleaner clock. I mean, I just don't see anyone in the top three that could actually withstand Donald Trump.
See, I think Bernie can, but his ideas are so radical that he would go.
Right.
He would admit them, right?
Yeah,
and that's the problem with Bernie. But Bernie can roll in those circumstances. Biden also is a fighter. And I think has shown himself in particular one-on-one debate moments. He's had moments.
I have to tell you, last night he couldn't string sentences when he talked about Syria
or the tax thing.
It was not good.
He said he was going to repeal the tax and then he was going to double it. And then he came up with like three ideas in one sentence.
Let's go.
But last on this, I think those two are in a different league than Warren. Warren is the type of candidate that Donald Trump can own. If Donald Trump can't beat Elizabeth Warren, he can beat no one in that field. No one. If he can't beat Elizabeth Warren, and they're going to run her out there as the candidate and give him the absolute best chance possible to win this election, it's amazing.